So we move directly on to item 5.5, the former bank on 1 Derby Road, Stapleford, a part change of use on the ground floor to allow Class A4 use drinking establishments.
Thank you, Chair. There's no late items. As you said in the introduction, it's for a change of use for the western part of the building, which comprises 104 square metres, which would be done in conjunction with the remainder of the building, which is already operating in this use class. The consultations in terms of statutory consultees and neighbours, the Highway Authority are content. The Environmental Health Officer is content. There have been site notice postings and adjoining occupiers notified, and there haven't been responses received. In terms of the issues in front of us, in terms of neighbouring amenity, the expansion of the premises into the office will potentially have more significant impact on the amenity of neighbours, the occupiers of flats and the occupiers of number 2 Eaton's Road. But in terms of noise disturbance, it's considered that this could be subject to restrictions in line with the existing premises, should permission be granted. And then in terms of the air conditioning units, again, our environmental health colleagues suggest that that's controlled by means of condition. The plans do indeed show a designated smoking area to the rear of the property, but again, the environmental health colleagues are content with that. With regard to highway safety, it is true that no parking is proposed, but it's a town centre location, there's a car park nearby, and residents parking on the adjacent residential road. So in conclusion, the officer recommendation is that permission be granted on the basis that the proposals are acceptable in those regards to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. We've one speaker on this, and that's Councillor Ray Darby, and you get 5 minutes, Ray.
Okay, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on this subject. I've been a councillor in Stapleford on the town council for over 20 years, and borough councillor for over 6 years. And in that time, we have never had such a situation as we have, which is happening in Larrysmore. Right? It is not acceptable. People's first view of the town is a group of people drinking and smoking outside the bar. Right? A bar when young people are going to and from school, seeing drunk and rude and sometimes abusive people on the public benches and road edge. It just gives a bad example. We have all heard firsthand regarding the incident on New Year's Eve in the bar, when a fight started out, when someone was beaten and kicked so badly that he had to be put into an induced coma. We have been told that the doorman was not doing his duty by not turning away unticketed customers. He was also drinking himself and letting underage drinkers in without questions. You can see I've got some photographs of the inside of the establishment, where the drinkers are people are just behaving in a rowdy manner. You can see by the photographs that have been sent. Right. I hope councillors who have no knowledge of Wyden Stapleford would heed local people's views as to the need to oppose the planning, the extension to a licence. Noise is not kept to a minimum. Fights more frequent but unreported. It is also a permit holder's parking, but there is never anyone about to enforce that problem. Right. There are beer barrels outside, but I understand that these moved for your benefit this afternoon. Delivery lorries frequently block the road, and regard to other users. I have also received many complaints regarding, mainly verbal, as many local residents feel frightened and threatened. The CCTV cameras do not appear to work or be manned. I understand that these issues and concerns have little to do with planning, but I would ask that any planning or licence extension be deferred until the victim, who is hopefully recovering, comes out of this coma and that has been placed in, and that the MP and the Secretary of State can make their comments regarding this. I've also been informed that the 6 notice has gone out regarding this issue. Number 1 and number 3 refer to Larry's Bar. That's 2 of them. 17 and 17A, there's no one there, no one lives there, so I don't think they would be able to comment. All right, and number 2, and the church, that's the only 2 that was issued. So 4 out of the 6 was absolutely pointless because you sent it to the actual person that's making the application. Okay, that's all I have to say about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Darby.
Thank you. Yeah, the slide in front of you shows the properties that were notified, and that's been done in line with the council's normal process. A sign notice was put up in addition. As Councillor Darby has mentioned, a number of these issues, concerning though they are matters for your licensing colleagues and potentially matters for the police. I would just want to focus members' attention on whether on planning grounds this proposal is acceptable. That relates to the use of the premises as a drinking establishment as a similar basis to the eastern part of the premises. I do want members to focus on the issue that the manner in which the premises is operated, however unsatisfactory some may consider that to be, is not a reason to refuse planning permission. The issue to consider is whether on various grounds, including amenity, including road safety, and whether on those grounds the planning issues are acceptable or not. Thank you.
In order to open discussion, I'll move the item. Thank you. Councillor McRae.
I also agree with what Ray Darby said. I think it should be deferred as well until it's been before licensing committee, and also until we find out what's happening with the lad that's in hospital, because he is in a really bad way, and a lot of people are concerned about it. And this isn't me saying yes or no to this. This is just, I just don't think it's a suitable time to be making this decision. I really don't. Not when we've got someone laying in hospital that I'm not going to say it here because it's not fair, but he's not in a good way at all.
Thank you, Councillor McRae. Councillor Redulevich.
Madam Chair, I accept it's a difficult decision, but to increase the floor space we talk about, it's approximately 100% increase, and it's twice the size. And I remember when this issue first came before planning to make it to a change of use. Concern was expressed by local residents about the impact that it would have on their amenity. Now, I disagree with the planning here. 100% or twice the size increase would have an impact on the local residents. And bearing in mind that this place, and I know we're not supposed to talk, this place has a lousy reputation, to put it bluntly. Now, and I accept that that's not reasons and grounds for planning, but there are huge differences in creating drinking establishments that are regularised and have door bouncers and procedures. Places like Wetherspoon, for instance, one of their reasons they're so successful is they employ the door staff, particularly at weekend, and making people feel safe and secure. And not just those people using the premises, but local residents. This place has a lousy reputation, Madam Chairman. It has a reputation for unlicensed door staff. It has a reputation within the area for encouraging excessive drinking without control. And consequently, I believe that a 100% increase in the floor space would have a massive detrimental impact to local residents. Now, I understand the sentiments on what is being said about this incident that happened on New Year's Eve. And obviously there's great concern because it did make the front page of the paper. But it is a land use strategy, this planning, and I have absolutely no confidence whatsoever that allowing an increase in the floor space will not be detrimental to the amenity of local residents. Therefore, I would ask members tonight to reject the application for an increase until a full investigation has been used that as additional evidence to the case. But I would recommend it being refused on the grounds that it would be detrimental to local people. A huge increase of that size, double the size of that location, would impact on local residents, and consequently I would reject it.
Thank you, Councillor Gillow, please.
Yes, I never agreed with this in the first place because I always thought there would be problems with traffic. And having lost it today, I gather there are problems, and particularly with the large delivery lorries. So could we not refuse it on traffic problems?
If that's the view of the committee, you can indeed refuse it on traffic problems. That's a legitimate reason for concern, if that's your view.
Councillor Philippo.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman. I would endorse what Councillor Radulovic says. It's not usual that we agree, but tonight seems to be the exception. I think Councillor Mrs. Owen is quite right. He should never have been given approval in the first place. What an impression you get when you come into Stapleford and you see that place. And I hear what Mr. Saunders says about planning issues versus licensing issues. The trouble is, these problems get ping-ponged backwards and forwards. It's a licensing issue, but then the licensing people don't seem to want to get a grip of it, and, well, can't you have planning conditions put on? And so, at the end of the day, somebody's got to get this by the scruff of the neck, and I'm more than happy to do that and support Councillor Radulovic in his wish to reject this application. You only had to look this afternoon. They've got banners displayed illegally. Now, I know Mr. Saunders will say, well, it is a planning issue in this case, because they haven't got permission for it. And I don't know why the enforcement officer hasn't taken some action. They're always very keen to pick up the boys' brigade at the Pearson Centre, but if they display anything, can't wait to get enforcement notices against them. But this gateway to Stapleford, we've got these banners displayed. And from what we've heard tonight, there's already a huge loss of amenity to local residents. And that is a significant planning issue. So do we really want to increase that loss of amenity? I would say no, we don't. I certainly wouldn't. The smoking shed provision at the rear is in an enclosed area which other properties back onto. So the smoke will, if it's a warm night, the smoke will simply rise up and go into those properties that back onto it. That, to me, is a loss of amenity. I understand the noise already from there can be heard some considerable distance, so to actually extend the property is going to result also in a loss of amenity. The Environmental Health Officer comments on the air conditioning the units that will be provided. Now, air conditioning units are notoriously noisy. Even the most modern ones, they are noisy. And you've got residential properties immediately around. I certainly wouldn't want to be listening to air conditioning units whirring away until the early hours of the morning. I think there's enough evidence here, both on highway grounds and loss of amenity grounds, to say no to this planning application. What a pity the previous Development Control Committee didn't reject the initial application. We wouldn't be in this mess now.
Thank you, Councillor Rowan. Councillor Hall?
I think actually years ago Madam Mayor wanted a wine bar at Stapleford, and that would have been nice, wouldn't it? Didn't I say that would be nice all those years ago? Thank you. Anyway, I would say that when we did the site visit this afternoon, and I think I walked down with Richard, and we looked, and you look at that, it says here, the prime frontage of that. I mean, the gateway to Stapleford, it is awful. And I really don't know how you're going to make it any better for the residents, but if the feeling is that you want it to be refused, I would support that. I know as we walked by, there were people on the street drinking, and it's where they go smoking on the front. I've got nothing against people having a drink and a cigarette, for goodness sake, been there myself. But, you know, I'm almost a reformed character, and but if it's going to make life very difficult for people that live down there, I mean, the music, surely that comes under the licensing committee, and we do have one. And maybe all these things could be referred back to those committees, and let's see what they have to say. Obviously, this, I don't think it's been investigated enough, but I do wish somebody would do something about that approach as you come into Stapleford. I mean, we've said yes to Aldi because we want to uplift Stapleford. That's going to look great. The centre of Stapleford's going to look terrible. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. Anybody else wish to make any comments? In that case, we'll move to the vote. The recommendation is before you on page 66. The committee is asked to resolve that planning permission be granted subject to the conditions laid out on pages 66 and 67. All those in favour, please show. All those against? In that case, in view of rejecting the recommendation, again, we ask that you give delegated authority to myself and Stefan for the wording, but from what I've listened, I understand that it's on loss of amenity, which is detrimental to local residents and traffic problems. Do you wish to come in at this point? Yeah.
No,
Yeah, happy with that.
yes, I think that's what they're
Mm. Right, thank you. So we now need to vote that you wish to refuse permission, and again, based on your comments of loss of amenity, which is detrimental to local residents and traffic problems, with delegated authority to myself and Stefan for the wording. All those in favour, please show. Thank you very much. And our last item, 5.6 Bexhill Court, Beeston, has been before us.